This video is brought to you by CLX Gaming. Are you interested in building or getting a new computer, but don't know exactly who to go through, or not sure of your own personal skills in building a custom PC? Then why not stop by CLX Gaming and let them build it for you? With systems starting at a baseline price of about $600, they can custom build any PC for you on how you want it. From AMD to Intel CPUs, from Radeon to NVIDIA graphics, with additional components from companies like Corsair, G-Skill, and much, much more. Each one of their full systems are tested and configured, including the installation of the operating system and other components, by a team of highly trained builders and backed with a full labor of parts and warranty for 1 full year, with a 30-day exchange warranty on all other components, including bare-bones computers without an operating system installed. So come on by CLX Gaming by clicking on the link in the description below and let them build your system for you. Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to welcome you to my channel. I am, of course, as always, Freakazoid67216, and I want to give you a wonderful good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on where you are in the world and what time of day it is you are watching this video. Now, in this particular video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on getting things set up for live streaming on Twitch, for those of you who are either new to the service or a little bit more of a seasoned veteran. And really, Windows? For those of you who have been streaming for a while or are new to the service and are wanting to try to get on board, but have been experiencing the whole thing of dropped frames, slow connection, and everything else in between. So there's a few things that I want to kind of point out to you. And this is one of those moments where you don't have to worry about spending a whole lot of money on trying to get things done. You can actually use a lot of the current equipment that you might have floating around your house. So here's the thing. You don't, like I said, you don't need to use or go out and spend a whole lot of money on getting the latest and greatest hardware. Yes, it is always a good idea, especially if you're just wanting to stream off of one machine. But if you're on a very tight budget and you built a system that probably at most, after buying 1 or 2 computer parts at a time, spent maybe $1,000 at most on, 800, 7, 6, 5, whatever the case might be. Or you went and bought some super cheap machine from Walmart and then threw a higher end graphics card in it that you got from ordering from Amazon or Newegg, or if you got one close by you, a Micro Center or someplace like that. Whatever the case might be. But you have an older computer floating around, or you've got a family member that's got a computer that doesn't use anymore, and it just sits there and collects dust. So here's the thing. And a live streamer that I know actually did something similar. He games off of a little bit of a higher end system. He uses a pretty low end computer system for video capturing. And for everything that's going to be done, I'll get to all of that here in just a couple of minutes. Right now, this is kind of the basics. So this is an older, compact, and yes, I said compact. This thing's been around for a while. So getting things set up, it does not require a whole lot of information. You can run this off of a dual-core system that's got hyper-threading, like an old Intel dual-core processor or an old AMD 4-core processor that's 2 actual cores, 2 hyper-threaded cores. It doesn't take a whole lot of processing power. You might need a little bit of a decent graphics card to try to help render some of the data, but it doesn't even take a high-end graphics card. My friend, his gamer tag and his stream name is Llama Soul. I'll actually link his name in the description down below for his Twitch and his YouTube channel. Go check him out. He's kind of funny. And the reason why I say he's kind of funny because he rages a lot over really stupid things, and it's funny to watch him rage. So this computer right here, this is an AMD Athlon dual core system, so it is not very powerful off of processing. So because of the fact of the processor that's in here, it's integrated graphics off of the motherboard. Not the greatest. He was actually running an older graphics card. He was running a 7800. I have this 8400 sitting here. I can throw this into the system, throw some memory in it to make it run a little bit faster, and it'll work just fine. It doesn't take much, so you can literally use old components for what we're about to do. So let me put this down, because I had this thing sitting in my lap. Okay. Now, with my setup, I'm actually going a little bit newer components. I have a Ryzen 7 for my gaming system and a Ryzen 5 off of my capture card. Now, mind you, these are not 3000 or 2000 series CPUs. They're still first gen Ryzen, but they work just fine for the purpose of what we're going to be talking about today. First and foremost, you're going to need some software. You're going to need to, and I will link everything down below. You're going to need capturing software. Now, right now, these services are generally only tied into OBS. Some of the stuff you can kind of do with Streamlabs, but not everything will work with it. So I definitely recommend your atypical OBS Studio or Stream Elements OBS Live. Once you have either one of these two programs installed, to be perfectly honest, Stream Elements OBS Live is just a slightly enhanced version of OBS Studio, and what I end up doing works just fine across the board. Now, you're going to kind of see that visual looping right here, so you'll have to forgive me off that one. Okay. Unfortunately, you're going to get that kind of video looping with the window and the window and the window. But for the purposes of what we're going to be doing, we're going to be getting this set up. Now, this is going to be coming from the system in question that I am playing my games off of. So you're going to need to have OBS installed on both computers. Once you have OBS installed, regardless if you're using OBS Studio or Stream Elements Live, or Stream Elements OBS Live to be specific, but I'm just going to call it Live for right now. Once you have Live installed or the original OBS, you're going to want to create a scene for what you're going to be capturing. Now, I've already got it set up here, but this is how this is going to work. Before you can get the scene set up, there is one other piece of software you will need to download. And again, this is going to be one of those I will link in the description on where to download it. But you're going to need to download a software called NDI. It is going to be a plug-in for OBS. It will work with live and vanilla OBS. So you just go through here, click the download. This is going to be something you are going to need to install on both computer systems. There's going to be a lot of stuff that will ask to install with it. Your general platforms it will work with. It'll work with Windows. It'll work with Mac OS. It'll work with Linux. So your secondary computer doesn't even have to be a Windows-based system. It can be a Mac. It can be a Linux-based computer. It will still work. Once you've gotten the software downloaded, just click download. If you're using Windows, if you're using a Mac, if you're using Ubuntu, any of that, it's all going to be right here for you to download. Download it, run it, get it installed. All that stuff's going to be right there. And like I said, I'll have the links on getting all of that set up. Once you've gotten NDI installed, there's two things you're going to need to activate off of your primary computer for your gaming system. Now, I've already got it running on mine, and it will show up in your start menu. You want to come here to the NDI tools. You'll need to run your scan converter and your virtual input. The reason why you're going to need to run those is so that way you can scan the screen that you're going to be using and then have that virtual input to go through to your secondary system. Now, thankfully, this is not something that's going to require any kind of a capture card. You can have both computers sitting on the same network. As long as you set them up properly, you'll be just fine. Now, coming back towards here, so you can either right click and hit add or hit the little plus sign to create a new scene. As you can see, it'll be 100% blank, nothing on it whatsoever. After you've created that new scene, you want to hit that little plus sign right there that will say add. When you click on add, it will have on the list this little bit of information called NDI source. Once you've added it, you're good to go off that one. Now, once that gets created, you don't even need to leave this running. This can be 100% minimized now, and you'll be good to go afterwards. So, now you'll forgive me if I'm looking off in the distance. It's only because of the fact of the way that I have my monitors kind of set up, and I'll kind of show you here real quick. Yeah, there we go. So these two monitors right here are the monitors for my gaming PC. This one up here is one of the monitors that I use for my capture system. I have another monitor that's off that way underneath the camera that goes for that system. So, yeah, it's on a little bit of an angle, but that's fine. I'm personally used to it. So, your next step that you're going to do is create a similar new scene on the system you're going to be using for that capture software, or for that capture computer, I should say. Now, as you can see, my current screen is 100% blank, and I will get everything started here in just a couple of seconds. Now, just like off the previous computer, since we don't have any active sources, I'm going to throw in a window capture here of the computer that I'm going to be working on, so that way you can kind of see what I'm going to be doing. So let's go that way. There we go. Display capture. Yeah. Okay. Now, just like with the other computer, just like I mentioned, just like I mentioned, you can kind of see where we're coming from. So that screen's going to be 100% blank, so you're going to have to get that scene set up. Now, I've already kind of got everything up and running off of this software already, but to kind of give you a general idea, just like with the previous one, you're going to click add that NDI source. Now, since I already have one set up, I'm going to select on it. And as you can see, this is the gaming computer that I currently use. It's not full screen. I'm leaving it windowed for right now so that way you can kind of see what I'm doing. Once you've got that feed up and running, you're going to want to right click and then add that dedicated output for audio just by hitting that plus sign and then clicking right there where it says that dedicated output. The reason for that, and I say this because after coming across some videos and no one's saying this, that output is going to capture audio. So you'll want to tie that into your NDI source off the capture computer you're going to be using. Once you've got that installed, you're all set and ready to go. Now, I have been live streaming this way for the last couple of weeks. When I do get the chance to actually live stream, with some of the stuff that's been going on in my life, I haven't had too much of a chance to do that here lately. But when I do live stream, I don't have to worry about dropped frames. I might have to worry about an unstable network connection, but that's issues with my service provider, unfortunately. But I can sit here and play something like Warzone, which is a graphics and CPU intense game, and play it on ultra settings and not have a problem with one single dropped frame. I can sit here and play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, no problem. And the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077, I will not have a problem with that as well. Once you've got everything set up, that's when you can go through there and then start setting up your overlays and other graphics and anything and everything you would want to tie into your live stream. Like, for instance, with me, on the bottom left-hand corner here off the screen, you've got the animation for one of my sponsors, which is CLX Gaming. My other sponsor, which is Pyre Energy, which I have to tell you, I really love their stuff. Although I am needing to replenish my supply, but I have this right here. Great stuff. I will post my referral link for these in the description down below as well. This is their Mana. It is a peach mango flavored. They have a grape and a fruit punch and a lemonade as well that you can get a hold of. And I was told they're thinking about coming out with some new flavors as well. So if you want to be able to place that order and save off of your first order from them, then definitely check them out. Give them a try. Now, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to post them in the comment section down below. I definitely hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial for getting set up off of live streaming here on Twitch, or Facebook, or YouTube, or any other live streaming service you do decide to. And I do hope you take care and have yourself a wonderful upcoming holiday and a wonderful new year. And I shall see you in the next video.